staying safe online, and this is it. Today, I want to touch on these topics. Don't worry, there are not that many. I want to take us through understanding online threats, safe browsing practices, benefits and dangers of virtual connections, protecting personal information, safe communication practices, securing devices, and awareness and education. Okay, because it's not a training class, but it's for us to have something that we can follow. And to build upon what I've just said now, you cannot tell me you have not fallen victim of one attack or the other. I know a sister that is very close to my heart in our community as well, during pandemic, fell victim of parcel delivery, saying they have delivered a parcel for you, they missed you, and you have to click a particular link for them to reschedule delivery back to you. And by virtue of doing that, the person supplied important information and the account was hacked. Money that you have earned, toiling and all that, it just went away under a few seconds. So I thank you, Phonwa UK, for putting this kind of topic here for people to be aware of attacks that are out there. So understanding online attacks, the one that is common to everybody is phishing. And what does it mean? Phishing, fake emails. I can tell you, for example, I still received an email yesterday, a company advertising job. It looks juicy, and then you want to click on it, and they're asking for details that normally you will not be suspicious of, that this job is available. So we have seen various emails coming into your mailbox, and they supply you an email or a link for you to click upon. And I tell you what, when you see such an email, when you are expecting from anybody, the first thing you should do is the sender's email, click on it for you to be able to certify whether this is actually from a genuine email address. If somebody is sending you email now and masquerading as let's say I'm sending email from Barclays, for instance, and then it looks like the name shows Barclays. Have you actually checked where the email came from? And do you even know whether that email is genuine or not? So that's the only way you can know. You click on that, and then you see most of the time, you see this email coming from maybe something at gmail.com or at Yahoo or at a name that you don't know. So that's one of the common, or let me say, it is the commonest threat that you see online, phishing, because everybody wants something that is cheap. Everybody wants something that is free, money that you didn't work for, and they'll think they can just get that money and read from where they have never sold. The next one is malware, harmful software that damage or steals data. Sometimes our people, they don't want to pay for software, and they go on the internet to download various software. And whilst you're doing that, you never knew you're exposing yourself. You become a bot for a particular big operation that is taking place somewhere. For instance, some of these things come from Far East Asia.
Yeah, a long top. This is what I'm saying. A long top that goes at least to here. Because no matter what you wear with it.
Can we all mute? Because we can hear from Abdullah Hafiz. Can you mute yourself? Thank you. So malware is commonest that people want free software. They just want to download them because they don't want to pay. And like I said, you become a bot, and somebody somewhere is waiting for the right time to use your system as a bot to do DDoS, distributed denial of service. I know those are big words for this gathering, but just know that there are impacts for that. It may not affect you now, but it's going to affect others as well some other time. Scams and fraud. Like I mentioned to you before, something relating to Royal Mail saying they've missed you and they need you to pay. Click on the link and supply your details. And they even go to the extent of supplying your bank account and all that. Again, let's look at ransomware. This is common. And you will agree with me recently. Some of the two popular hospitals in London, St. Thomas and Guy's, they were attacked, St. Thomas, and about 3,000 appointments were cancelled, and they were running helter and skelter looking for people to donate blood because they cannot get access to the blood bank. So these attacks are real. And I can tell you what, this ransomware, they don't just happen because they may have penetrated the organization through somebody that is very careless. It could be you and I surfing the internet, and you supplied information relating to your organization. It could be your email address and password, and they use that opportunity to come into your organization and elevate their privilege. Big word there. They increased their privilege to the organization, what they can do, and from there they can create accounts and do whatever they want to do. And from there, what would they do? They will encrypt the organization's data. What does it mean to encrypt? Just like as you have an envelope, you put a letter into it, you close it. If it's opened, it's tamper-proof. Once it's tampered, you know somebody has opened that letter. So encrypted means that they have the key to the safe. So they've locked your data, they have the key, and they tell you to pay, hence what we call ransom. So these are the commonest threats that we have now for individuals, not for organization. Because if I'm doing this training, or let's say this talk for an organization, it will be different. There are about 13 I would list. But these I want you to be aware of. Okay? So what's the most common type of scam when you're talking about scam? You have online purchase scams. They list item for sale online and you think this is very cheap. Then you click on that. You never know because they've typos quoted a particular website. It looks like AWS. You click on it. You supply your real details onto this fake website. What you have done is you've supplied your information to them. They can sell it online, or they can use that to even hack you because your card is there if it's Amazon or any other online website. I'll give you an example. I genuinely bought something on eBay so many years past. And eBay reached out to me, they canceled the transaction. And they said they're sorry, the transaction that I made, they canceled it because they discovered the person that listed the item was fraud. And what does that mean? Because the person was asking me that, can he come and deliver the parcel to me? And instead of paying through eBay, he'll come and collect the money from me. I said, hang on, this doesn't sound genuine. So there are a lot of them out there. So you need to be very careful. Employment scam, I told you one that I received yesterday. So they post fake jobs. What you need to do your due diligence. What do we mean by that? The advertiser, you look them up on Google, see what people are saying about them. I can't tell you the name of the organization now, but a lot of them that you see out there, if you go on Reddit, you see what people are saying about them. You do your due diligence, reach your conclusion. Why am I saying this? Because they collect PII, personally identifiable information, which they can sell on the internet. I stumbled upon one chat on Nairaland, and there was a video too about somebody that was interviewed. I've forgotten the TV station again now. Information about big people in Nigeria when being sold online for 100 naira. You can imagine, 100 naira they are being sold. Genuine information. So phishing, I've covered that before. Social engineering, somebody can call you and say they're representing a particular organization and it sounds genuine to you, and you start giving them information because they've done their due diligence. They know you, they know people that you know, and they know what they can tell you. The commonest about this is WhatsApp these days. People who just personally private chat you and tell you, okay, there is a meeting, you need to do XYZ, and for you to do that, you have to give them the code that they've just sent to you. They take over your WhatsApp, and people that are important to you, they reach out to them and they start sending money to you. But alhamdulillah, I'm talking to Muslims here. But don't be surprised, some people here, so-called Muslims in our midst, they still play lottery. There are scams out there too. Scammers use online advertisements. Sometimes you go to some website, you see adverts coming in your face. You click on them because you like free things. You click on them, they deposit whatever they want to deposit on your assets. They wait there for the right time. They start collecting information about where you are visiting, and they can use that to attack you in return. Counterfeit product scams. Genuinely, people will go online looking for cheaper items that they can pay for. And this leads to these scams that we're talking about. So just to call out some of these scams that are out there and for you to be aware. But let's look at what experience says. You might be saying, no, I'm so smart, it can never be me. Look at the demography. This is from Experian website. 18 to 24, 6.1 are exposed to scammers. And likelihood of losing money from that is 46%. And they did this in dollars, $155. That's the median amount. All right? 25 to 34, 16% likelihood being exposed to scammers too. And success of that scam against them, 50% as well. 35 to 45. You can read all this. I'm just telling us that it goes through all demographics. But you can see they started with the age of consent, 18, where you use internet a lot. But do you know, even below this age, there are things our kids are exposed to online. You see child pornography and all that, which they're exposed to. So that is why we need to be sure of what our kids are exposed to online. We need to be very sure they have trained to look after themselves when they're using these gadgets. I used to tell people before in the past, cast your mind back to 10 years. The phones that you have now used to be a big computer back then. So the phone that we are all carrying now, they are big computers on their own. You can do a lot. You can apply, you can prepare documentation, you can write a book, you just name it. So that is why we need to be very careful, because we are exposed to a lot of things and we can do a lot with our mobile phone, and we need to be very careful. So what are the safe browsing practices I want to expose to you today? Firstly, I want you to use strong passwords. If you don't have strong password, today it is important for you to have one. We call them password, but I want you to be aware. The word you should be using now is called passphrase. Combine 2 or 3 words together. When you combine them, look into the letters and see how you can change them to special characters that makes them look gibberish to people before they can make meaning out of them. So you can choose any name, any random name, just combine 3 of them. Why am I suggesting this to you? It takes longer for hackers to break your account because we have many tools that they can use to do so. They don't even need to have your password. They can just run this tool, and we call it Jack the Ripper. And once they do that, they generate the hash of your password and they can log into your account. But if you do passphrase, you have added another level of security to your account. So you need to recognize suspicious links. I mentioned this in my introduction. When anybody sends you an email and it contains a link, just hover over that link to see whether it's actually a doc, because it's quacking. So, for instance, a phishing email pretending to be from Netflix asks users to update their payment information. And your guess is as good as mine. People supply their credit card details, their real account, by clicking on the link and all that, because they weren't knowledgeable enough to be aware of this kind of attacks. Next one, to secure, you visit secure website. How do you know whether a website is secured? If you look on the website you are visiting, on your left-hand side, you see a keypad there, a padlock, I should say. That shows HTTPS. That's what you should look out for. And what that means is that the communication between you and the server you're communicating with is tunneled, is secured, is only between you and that server. So no man in the middle attack will take place. Because some of the attacks we have is you can have man in the middle, somebody will stand in between your network, because if they hijacked your network, anything you send, they can see them in clear text. Your password, your username, your credit card, everything you're sending, they are seeing them in clear text. So anytime you want to visit a site, if it doesn't have that, please run away. Again, your browser settings. I use Firefox. Go to your settings on your browser. Each of these browsers these days, they have this support they can give you. Look for privacy there, search it, look for security there. I use Strict on my own browser that if I go to any website that's HTTP, it will never open. I'll give an example. I was in Eurostar because I know I have VPN. I want to try their network. My browser didn't let me because I've made it to be strict. And it's a no-no for me because I also have an add-on called HTTPS Anywhere. So it cannot allow me to browse on that website. Then the next one, use a VPN. I've covered this already. You can see free VPN out there. Yes, they are good. There's one from Microsoft. Many VPNs are out there. Use them. As long as they're not selling your data. Do your due diligence before you go for any VPN too. If you want to go for the paid one, even better. But I'm not saying if you have a free one, that is even good because there are a lot of people out there doing things for the community. Okay? Additional one I want to tell you is what are the benefits and dangers of using internet, or let's say virtual connection. The benefits, it is convenient, right? It makes you to communicate with anyone, anywhere, anytime you like. Take, for instance, when pandemic hit, so many organizations, they couldn't go online because they were not ready for it. And a lot of them that I was opportunity to audit them as a cybersecurity expert within the industry and as a consultant as well. So we come into organizations to help them see their cyber resilience and make sure everything that they have is good and is sufficient for them to be secured against so many attacks that are out there. So another one is information and services. Every one of us, it is now becoming very easy. You can work from home and all that. Virtualization has made this easy for you. So, and you also have easy access to education, training that you have to go into various offices to attend. You don't need to do so anymore. You can do that from the comfort of your home. And social interaction. Before you can speak with your sisters, your parents, or anybody, you have to travel. Now, you can organize family meeting via Zoom and all that. So it has enabled social interactions by maintaining relationships and building global communities. But however, our exposure to this has led us towards privacy risk. I've told you this before. You're oversharing information on the internet. And what do I mean? People want to go on vacation. The next thing you see they do is to go on the internet. They put information there and say, okay, I'm traveling and all that. Cyberbullying as well is there, and harassment, and as well as addiction and mental health. Because it has really made it easy for people to buy drugs and all that from the online domains. So that's what impact that this has brought to us. Okay, so in continuation of my browsing practices, I recommend enable two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication, you can do that with many of these tools that we have out there. You have Google Authenticator, you have Microsoft Authenticator, you have TuloAuth. Make sure if it's your Gmail account, put that two-factor authentication there. If it's your WhatsApp, make sure you do the same thing. Let it ask you for you to enter your secret password, which is just your passcode. I think it's 6, if I remember this. Put it on your WhatsApp so that they cannot hijack it. These things, they may look very difficult, but they are very, very helpful. And respect your privacy. I've mentioned it before. You want to go anywhere. You see free Wi-Fi. You go to a library because it looks like maybe it's the library's Wi-Fi. Go and ask at the reception so that you connect to the right Wi-Fi. Why am I saying that? There are a lot of hackers on the streets. Some of them even sit in the restaurant, have their tools in their bag, and they turn on their Wi-Fi. They're looking for people that will connect to this network. So please be very careful. Those are the ways you can browse safely. Another one, use ad blocker, because so many adverts come as you're browsing the internet because of where you are visited. Use ad blocker so they can remove malvertising noise and prevent you from dangerous content. You never know where you have gone to and this trail that you have left on your cookies, and they'll be coming after you. I've mentioned HTTPS before. Look for that padlock, because Yahoo data breach left bad taste in our mouth. Hackers used an advanced cookies forging attack and hacked 32 million accounts. And till date, the information is still there. All right. How do you protect your personal information on social media? For example, in 2014, a woman her house was robbed because she posted a status where she was going to, because she's not going to be at home on Facebook. And they knew her house because they have their address, and the house was burgled. So be careful of what you share on the internet, particularly on Facebook or any of the social media that you use. Be very careful and cautious. Public Wi-Fi, I've mentioned that. There are a lot of risks there. Don't connect to any Wi-Fi that you're not sure of. If you are in a hotel, make sure you use your room's Wi-Fi, not the generic one, because you don't know who set it up. But if you are sure, connect to the right one. And regular software update. Do not delay any update on your system. You might be asking me, why do I need to do this? You see, what this means is that if you are not doing what is right about updating your own system, what could happen to you is that one day, your software that is not updated has a vulnerability, and this is what the attackers are looking for. Once your system is vulnerable, they can deposit what they're looking for to use to attack various organizations, and do not be reason why your organization was taken out of business. Again, safe communication practices. How do you communicate safely? But I want to give you an example. In 2016, John Podesta, a political figure, he had his email hacked after opening a malicious attachment, leading to significant data leaks. You can Google what happened to Hillary Clinton too as well. And then I want to tell you again, if you are using any software, make sure you use the one that encrypts your message. For instance, WhatsApp is a good one. Make sure you use two-factor authenticator, like I mentioned before. All right. How do you secure your device? Install antivirus software. Luckily, on our devices now, if you're using Microsoft, they have Defender, which is automated. But remember to always update them. Whenever there is an update, let it run. Do not delay it. That's the only way you can get yourself safe. Because in 2019, a virus spread through fake antivirus software, tricking users into installing it and then stealing their data. Enable firewalls. Make sure you have firewall on your system. If you have Defender on your Microsoft device, yes, it is there again. Because in 2017, surveys showed that companies without firewall were twice as likely to experience a breach. Back up your data regularly. If you lose your device, you can easily get them back to where they were before the attack or before the system crashed. Our hospital, for instance, system was hit by ransomware. I gave you about guys in St. Thomas. But, you know, they can recover quickly if they have backup. If they don't have backup, that is the end. So for us as individuals too, we must as well make sure that we do the right thing. So how do you educate yourself to avoid all these things that I've mentioned? You follow reliable sources for online safety. I have the links that I'll share later, because many people avoid scams by staying updated with alerts from cybersecurity websites. Like Stay Safe Online is a website. Learn continuously. Do not say, it is not my bit to do. Cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility now. You don't want to be the reason why your organization came out of business, because they find out you might be innocent of it, but they will lead it to you because they will do forensic analysis. And that is why we need to behave well. Do not use your organization's email to open accounts on social media. Many places these attackers go to look for victims. Example, LinkedIn was hacked some years back. All right, so these are useful websites that I want to share for you to visit, and you can go here to get more information about how to use internet safely.